right, welcome to Wrestle Logic, and we're going to be talking about what we saw in wrestling this week. It's Chris Steele and Paul here to tell you what we felt about SmackDown and Raw this week. Now, of course, there's the biggest event of the year for wrestling, WrestleMania. And, well, Chris, what were your favorite moments of WrestleMania this year? We're going to just touch on this quickly before we get into Raw and SmackDown.
Well, favorite moment, I got to say, and I was blown away. I wasn't expecting it, but Ronda Rousey came through. I did not think she could do it. I was calling it Botchamania, as you remember.
I do.
I thought there was going to be a bunch of botches by her. Turns out she learned a lot, and that match had a great story to it. And since we don't know Ronda's finish, that's almost the best part. Obviously, you can go with the armbar, but it's not the typical wrestling signature, finisher, whatever you want to call it. So we never really knew when the match was going to end, and that's what kept me going. The whole time I was just surprised as to how many falsies they had in it.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible because in everything building up to it, she just looked very unsure, very unconfident in the ring. So it was exactly like you said. It could have been just botch after botch after botch and attempted move that you're like, yeah, that was a nice try there, Ronda. But no, she knocked it out of the park.
Yep, she blew me away. I was very skeptical of that match, and then came to WrestleMania. She blew the lid off the roof there.
Yeah, and I would say that was probably one of my favorite moments. I did really much enjoy the Charlotte and Asuka match. However, for reasons we will discuss shortly here with our SmackDown review, find out why now I'm not feeling that match nearly as much. So definitely felt the Asuka match. I did. You felt the Ronda match. I did as well. But WrestleMania overall I thought was pretty good. There was a few matches that I feel didn't quite deliver like they should have. Especially with the chance of this is awful during Brock's and Roman's, but given how that ended, God, who knows what WWE is going to do now.
Now, here's the one thing that really confused me, and maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm a Cena mark, whatever you want to call me, but I felt that match could have been something tremendously big, and it was like 4 minutes is all the match was, and it was basically a squash match. To me, I don't get, they could have really cashed in on that match. I really thought last week, as you remember, my prediction was that he comes out as American Badass. I would have popped huge if that would have happened, and it was just typical. His entrance was actually probably longer than the match, which was very confusing to me. I don't know, maybe they're going somewhere with this.
You know, and with a couple of other things that have been revealed now, that he's going to be in a casket match originally against Rusev at the Greatest Royal Rumble, now Y2J. Got to represent my boy. You just made the list. But it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with The Undertaker now, because, I mean, basically it seems like he's going to be on all the pay-per-views now. It's like those are where he's going to be at. So it's going to be like another Brock Lesnar. Like he'll appear for the big stuff, but we're not going to see him every week.
It's called a Legends contract, Paul.
Aha, all right. See, the inside scoop.
Yeah.
All right, but enough talk. WrestleMania, it's over with. So now we're into the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania. So how we're going to handle this is we're going to take drinks for every time we appreciated a moment from Raw or SmackDown. And whoever has the most drinks at the end of said drinking is the winner. So we'll see if SmackDown or Raw was better. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, SmackDown's an hour shorter. That's why we're going to give SmackDown 3 free drinks. They get 3 free drinks because they're an hour shorter and don't have as many possibilities of moments. So we got this covered.
All right, so it's starting 3 points to SmackDown right away, nothing to Raw right away.
Yep. All right, so SmackDown kicked off. Stephanie McMahon coming out all beat up, looking all roughed up, which she should have, because she was roughed up pretty bad from Ronda Rousey. Brings Ronda out, and Ronda makes like she's going to be besties with her, and then throws her in an armbar again.
Well,
so, what do you think? Drink? No drink.
I'm drinking to that one.
I'm drinking to that one, too.
Now, the reason I'm drinking to that, Paul, is because in my prediction last week, I said that I thought that McMahon and Triple H were going over to further the storyline. Now, I think what they're doing here is they're going to further the storyline some more. I don't know what kind of contract Ronda's under, but I want them to continue the storyline for now, because here's why. If she goes and wrestles with the women, she's supposedly the toughest female there is there. All right. Now, who is she going to go after? She'll whoop everybody's ass, as far as I'm concerned, in the women's locker room. But I think they could really do something if they switch Charlotte over to Raw and Ronda stays at Raw because of the track record Charlotte has. Now, that's looking way in the future, but I'm drinking to Ronda because I thought that match was awesome. It told a great story, and it seems as they're continuing the storyline.
Okay, all right. So then next big thing is we had an NXT call-up on Raw. No Way Jose making his debut on the roster. I'm going to go first on this one. I'm not drinking to this.
I'm not drinking this one either.
You know, I appreciate his character. I appreciate that people enjoy him, but first off, I thought it was really lackluster because typically if you're going to make your debut, it's kind of a surprise. And they announced before the commercial break that No Way Jose, his debut was next. So to me, that already kicked the legs out from under it. And it was a complete squash match, but for the casual fans, they have no idea who this guy is.
Right, and here's why I'm not drinking to this, is because it's just another Adam Rose thing.
Ah, the Rosebuds all over again.
That's exactly what it was. It was just
true.
another Rosebuds knockoff, except for it's this No Way Jose. Guy's got kind of an interesting look. It's almost Caribbean, like Carlito, but I don't think he needs the entourage at all.
No, it'll be. I send my best to you, No Way Jose, but after this lackluster debut, I'm just worried you're going to get stuck in NXT hell on the main roster.
And the payday is up on Raw.
All right, so then of course we had Seth Rollins coming out to a huge pop. The new Intercontinental Champion, got the fresh, shiny new belt, and he's Grand Slam champion now.
Grand Slam?
Last one from the Shield to get in there, but that's okay. Saving the best for last, as far as I'm concerned. Although I do miss Dean. Eagerly awaiting Dean to come back. Dean, we miss you. We miss you. But then I think the thing that I loved most about this was then Finn comes out. And, of course, everyone's thinking, he's going to, rip him apart. And But what I liked about it was he came out and was very classy about it. Kind of congratulated him, But then threw down the obvious. He's like, you were the winner, and you pinned the Miz, but you didn't pin me.
Right.
So very, very face way to go into it.
Right,
Not very heelish, very face way to be like, I think I deserve another chance. And of course, then the Miz comes out, and of course he wants his rematch clause first, which I get that. But then my favorite moment of the entire thing, oh my gosh, Jeff Hardy's music hits. And he's back. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. What do you think? Are you drinking to this?
Oh, I'm absolutely drinking to this. And you know why? Because now they are bringing back legitimacy to the Intercontinental title. Look at the names you have on this. You have Seth Rollins, who was WWE Champion. You have Jeff Hardy, who's a legend and a WWE Champion previously. You got The Miz, same thing. And we have Finn Balor, same thing. So you got 4 champions right there. And they're bringing legitimacy to this Intercontinental title that has lost it in the past. I mean, if you remember back in the day, you had Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match at WrestleMania 10, was it? Yeah, and they're having a ladder match for that. They're trying to bring that back, and I really appreciate that. And I think that title now is going to start becoming something people are now, I want to watch that because obviously when Brock holds the title, it's far and few between on each championship match.
Yep, very much so. So, no, I totally agree with you on all fronts there, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just jacked to see Jeff Hardy back. It's, with everything with the drunk driving arrest, it was like I was biting my nails down to the root because I'm just like, oh gosh, did he just screw everything up? Apparently not, because he is back. So let's drink to the IC title.
Perfect.
It's looking good right now. All right, and then there was the ladies. The ladies came out. There was a very weird match between Sasha Banks and Mandy Rose. It wasn't a bad match, but just the reasoning behind it was kind of weird. And then Bayley came out kind of like and took away Sasha's thunder, even though she wasn't in the match. So that was all weird. But of course, it was all the build-up to a very sad moment. The match was kind of off to the side. Of course, then Paige announces her retirement, which was kind of devastating, because, she's 25 years old and already having to retire due to injury. Oh my gosh. But I loved the moment where she said that Daniel Bryan's return gave her hope. And, that's going to... It's a hard moment for me to say I'm going to give a drink to because I don't like the fact that she's had to retire. but I appreciate the way that they did it. So I'm still going to hold my glass down on this one because it sucks, because I don't want to say yay to that.
All right, and here's where I'm at with this one. With the women on Raw, I'm going to give a sip to it. Just a sip, okay?
Okay, so we'll say that's
just a sip. That's a half.
A half
Because
point.
here's
Okay,
what I
all right.
like about this situation. Is they're trying to make something between Bayley and Sasha. And we saw it at WrestleMania where there was a little bit of, and we've seen in the past now, they got something going, and I'm just kind of interested to see where this goes. And always seeing someone retire because of injury, don't want to exactly drink to that. So I'm drinking-ish to the Sasha and the Bayley feud that's possible, but I can't drink to the Paige portion because it's unfortunate. It is part of what we do as performers. There is risks, and we all know this when we get into the wrestling industry. There's a risk. We're going to get injured. It's just a matter of when for the most part. Nobody ever goes injury-free, whether it's something very minor, something major, or something that becomes chronic. All right?
All right. Like I said, I can't drink to it just because I like Paige, and I don't like to see the fact that she's going. But we'll talk about SmackDown later.
All right.
Because we already know, most of us already know what happened on SmackDown, but we're talking Raw. All right, so we're moving on. Up next, we had a very unusual segment. I love Braun Strowman so much, but the whole thing with Nicholas was just a little weird to me.
That was odd. Yeah.
It was odd, and the fact that now they just relinquished the titles. Although I will give a nod to the very clever way that they did it. It's because he has scheduling issues because he's still in school. So that was clever. I liked the way they did that. However, as a whole, I don't know if I'm going to drink to this because I feel like they just kind of took a crap on the tag team titles. I think they took a lot of legitimacy away from it. They took it off of a team, although a lot of people were getting bored of the bar. It's hard to get mad at a team that is just that dominant. You know, I mean, they were just booked that way, and they were very dominant, great team. They work well together, and they just took the titles away, and now they're just vacated. I mean, I guess I appreciate that they're doing the Eliminator tournament, but I still feel like the legitimacy was kind of taken out from underneath it. So that's why I can't drink to this segment.
And I guess I'm going to go from an emotional standpoint on this. I like what they did. I don't know who Nicholas is. I don't know. All I know is he's a fourth grader, has scheduling conflicts that he can't defend the titles anymore. Not that he probably needs, he needs to even get in the ring because look who his partner is. It's Braun Strowman. But I really like Braun Strowman and what they're doing with him. And they let him have a side on TV that shows his personality. I was actually chuckling over the things that he was saying about the scheduling conflicts and just the way he comes across with his voice. It's just a deep voice. It's funny. They're showing that he is more than just a monster. But I hope that they don't give up on that where they go to a comedic relief with him. I want them to keep dominating with him because he is obviously, they built him up that way. Let's keep him that way for a long time. Let's not have him do gimmicks like the Big Show, he does something goofy, and then it just kind of like, oh, now he's just a comedic relief, okay? Now, if that's your role in WWE, obviously they're going to do it to the best of their ability, and that's no problem, but Braun's too new. And I like what they did with Nicholas. Like I said, I don't know who he is, but I think it's really cool. Because we were really expecting something huge, like a big return at WrestleMania or something.
Yeah, I think that's one part that took the sales out of it for me was we were expecting the Big Show or Big Cass or there was even rumors of Rey Mysterio at one point.
I remember that one.
And Nicholas.
There's more behind it. Paul.
No, I know there is, but it's just still to me. And you know what? Another YouTuber said this, and I have to give him props because he's totally on the ball with this. It's Vince McMahon marketing to the kids of his audience, because how many of those kids now are looking at Nicholas saying, "Oh my gosh, that could have been me." I'm an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid saying, "There's a 10-year-old that's holding a strap right now. Yep. That could have been me." Yep. So okay, you've won me over. I will drink to this.
Okay.
I'll drink to this.
It.
All right. So in the Tag Team Eliminator now, they're going to have different teams now, obviously, compete to be in this little mini tournament. And the first one that I'm still up in the air on this one. So it was Anderson and Gallows, the club, taking on the Revival. Taking on the Revival. And see, I'm stuck on this one because I feel like, especially after Raw 25, that they just buried the Revival. And they're such a good team, but I have a soft spot for the club. I just always have. Anderson and Gallows, I love them. I love the whole nerd like shtick. I love it. So seeing them lose made me sad, but at the same time, I think I got a drink to this one because I think the Revival needed it. They needed it after getting buried on Raw 25. I think that Anderson and Gallows they can take this. I think they're going to unfortunately end up on SmackDown once this whole superstar shakeup thing happens anyway. So I think that this is still going to be okay for both teams. So I'm going to drink to this because the Revival deserve it. They do.
And I am not. I'm bored of it.
Oh, he's bored of it.
Just bored.
All right. So this is only a half then, a half point.
So it's all you.
Because it's only
Drink
me.
away.
So tell me, you're bored of those teams or you're bored of the tag team scene in Raw right now?
The teams.
Okay.
I love tag team action. I got the Mom Squad. You know who the Mom Squad is. It's Mr. Sex Appeal, Chris Steele. My partner, the Big O, Todd Owens. I love tag team action because there's just so many more variables you can put to a match and tell more of a story. And they're also usually pretty fun like the New Day. So I enjoy the tag team scene. Just not a fan of the teams that we were talking about there.
Okay. All right. Cool. And then more tag team action because then we had the surprise team of Matt Hardy and now Bray Wyatt. Is it Broken Bray? Is it Woken Bray? Is it? I don't know what is going on, but I like it. And I'm very curious to see where it goes from here.
Okay, I'm going to drink to this because I'm interested in this. I'm not a huge Bray Wyatt fan. It seems like they keep sticking him with different things and nothing seems to stick. It's like if you throw enough crap at a wall, something's going to stick eventually, right? Maybe Matt's going to carry him because we already know he's over with the crowd. Yep. Easy. Not even a question. So I'm going to drink to this because I'm interested to see where this is going.
Well, and I think that there was a slight level of getting a little stagnant, actually, with the broken gimmick, too, because a lot of the casual fans are kind of more weirded out by the whole thing, whereas your hardcore fans that have been following the whole broken thing since back in the Impact days are just loving it. But I feel like that he had kind of hit a ceiling right now, and he needed something else. And I think this addition of Bray Wyatt to the fold is exactly what it needed for both of them. I think that it's going to take Bray's character to a completely different level. It's going to be able to give Matt a new rejuvenation for the whole broken gimmick, and I think it's going to be a win-win in the end. It's just going to depend on the booking. It always depends on the booking.
So we're drinking to this.
I'm drinking to this.
Hold up.
Oh.
Drink!
I love it.
Cheers.
Sorry, Titus Worldwide. Sorry. All right. Oh, more tag team action. Because then, of course, we had Rhino and Heath Slater come out because, he's got kids.
Yeah, he's got kids still.
He's got kids.
He hasn't shipped them off to boarding school yet.
No, he has not.
All
well,
right.
He probably can't afford to yet. You got to get better booking. So he comes out, gives this whole, we don't care, send someone out. We want to prove that we can be a part of this Eliminator. And who debuts but the Authors of Pain? Coming out just looking like badasses. And I loved this because it was one of those moments where you knew someone, it wasn't just going to be any team. This is one of those builds. It reminded me of the one at the beginning of the Royal Rumble not that long ago where Dolph was just like, I don't care, just send number 2, I don't care who it is. And Y2J comes back.
Yep.
So it's like, either it's going to be a big comeback of a tag team who, I can't think of any tag teams that were off the radar right now, so I don't even know who it would have been, or it was going to be a call-up. And I was like, I even turned to my wife when we were watching. I said, it's going to be Sanity or it's going to be the Authors of Pain. You just wait. Sure enough, Authors of Pain come out. Paul Ellering looking all jacked up and ready to go. Love the match. Obviously, it was a squash match. It's got to be for their debut. But I'm drinking to this because I thought it was a really cool thing. But I'm not drinking as much because I'm a little disappointed that they ditched Paul Ellering at the end.
I saw that. That made it a little interesting. I'm not drinking this because I don't know enough about it yet. I'm waiting to see what unfolds and if I'm interested yet. So I am not going to drink to this one. I'm going to let Paul do this one on his own.
Okay. Well, and I think I need to pose a question right after I have my drink here.
Do it.
Do you watch NXT?
Not a whole lot, but I did see that ladder match.
All right, and then what really got me about this next segment was just before the commercial break, they made it seem like it was The Undertaker going to come out again, like Mania. And who's in the middle of the ring again after the commercial break? Elias.
Of course.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love Elias. I think his gimmick is phenomenal. I love that he's over, but he gets so much heat at the same time. People boo him, people cheer him. It's just one of those things that it's just, I love him. He plays his part so well, and I mean, I think he's getting just as much merchandise sales right now as some of the faces are.
Oh, I think so. I mean, just at our WrestleMania party that we had, one guy walked in with an Elias shirt. I didn't even know they sold Elias shirts yet. Oh my gosh. And then he does his job well, like Paul said, but he has a good look to him, too. I mean, he has a shirt on all the time, but you can tell he's pretty jacked underneath all that, and that's what Vince likes. He likes a guy that's jacked. I'm interested to see what they do with Elias, but I'm not sure yet. All I know is he comes out and sings songs for the most part.
Yeah, his matches aren't terrible, but I feel like we don't see enough of him wrestling to really get a take on how good his wrestling is. But then, of course, it was all for naught anyway, because it was just to basically do the big return of Bobby Lashley.
Huge return.
Yes, I mean, huge pop. And the thing about it, too, and I will admit this, there's a gap in my wrestling followage, I guess. I don't know if that's a word or not. But there's a gap where I kind of stopped watching wrestling. I know, I'm sorry. I've learned the error of my ways, and I am back. However, one of the things, there was quite a few things that I really wish I hadn't missed, and one of them was the entire first run of Bobby Lashley. So I don't have a lot of knowledge about Bobby Lashley, but I know that he was a big fan favorite. I know that he's come a long way since the last run in WWE. I know he did a lot in TNA and really built up his image, really built up his moveset, and has come a long way. So I will drink to this because I am excited to see where it goes.
And I'm going to drink to this too because I'm excited, as Paul is, to see what happens with this. I don't know. When I watched wrestling back in the Attitude Era. Then, like Paul, there was a gap where I missed stuff. And the last time I remember Bobby Lashley is when he was at WrestleMania 23 wrestling Umaga.
Oh, the hair.
The hair match. The hair versus hair with Trump in one corner, Vince in the other. And Bobby Lashley came out on top with that. And that's about the last I really remember of him. And then he's been at TNA on the indie scene and stuff like that. Now, you had called WrestleMania, Bobby Lashley's coming back, he said. He told me that.
I did.
Well, they saved it for the Raw after Mania.
Yes,
and I got to drink to that. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. Now, I hope they do something, put him in the main picture. Don't have him come out with this extraordinary, entrance, does what he does to Elias, and then just mid-card him. Let's do something with him. If you're going to have him come back and make a huge return, don't let him fall down to the mid-card level.
I say let Roman and Joe duke it out, and I say do a Brock Bobby Lashley thing.
That would be big to see.
Well, they're both big guys. I mean, that suplex. I haven't seen anyone hold up a suplex like that since the British Bulldog days.
Right, and Elias isn't a small guy.
No,
this isn't Rey Mysterio he's holding up. He's holding up a pretty massive guy.
Yeah. I mean, I always remember the British Bulldog would always do that in his matches, too. Have that big, long, extended hold suplex, and got everyone over. Like, it didn't matter if you were the biggest heel in the world. If you were holding the guy up that long, people cheered you on, and no difference here.
And I've done a stalling suplex, and I can tell you they do take a lot of work. In wrestling, as some of you guys know, obviously the guys work together, there's posting, stuff like that, but it takes a lot of core strength to hold a guy straight up in the air and not have him go back down onto the mat until you're ready, and that takes a lot. And then not only that, he one-handed it.
Yeah,
he one-handed it.
Nuts. He just
right?
puts the arm out. Yep. Good.
So I'm going to drink to that.
All right, Bobby, welcome back. And of course... Who doesn't have jobs anymore? Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. And, of course, they show up on Raw like everyone knew they would and begging for a job. And I will say, one of the best moments of Raw that entire night was Kurt Angle saying, I think TNA's hiring.
Best part.
That was genius. Absolute genius. Although I will say that TNA did not take that as a diss. They said, yes, we're always looking for good talent. So kudos to you, TNA, for at least responding. Well done. And of course, then there was the match. It was a no contest because they beat each other so badly that neither of them could get up. I know that there's going to be more story here. I think this is more filler because of the superstar shakeup, and they got to extend it out another week. As much as I want to drink to it because the match itself was fantastic, I'm more confused at this right now on what's going to happen, so I'm not going to drink to it.
And I'm with Paul on this one. I'm confused too. I like KO by himself. I personally think he's great by himself. It was cool. It was fun to watch him with Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho helped him become a pretty big superstar, but I like him by himself. But the reason I'm going to drink to this is because of what Kurt Angle said. TNA's looking for jobs.
Okay, you win.
Talent.
All right, yep, that's all it took. You're right.
That's it?
I'm drinking to it too. All right, and a quick, before we get to the main event of Raw, a quick little insert, because that backstage segment to me was so well scripted, so well done, of seeing Matt and Jeff kind of meet backstage as they were, getting ready. The three are getting ready for their match, but okay. So it was cute. The whole thing with them was cute, and then Bray Wyatt, giving him a hug was cute. But the thing that sold it for me wasn't until the very end. And my wife said the exact same thing. I love that I can share this with my wife is very much into wrestling as well. And we'll get her on eventually. But my favorite part was the facial expressions on Finn and Seth after Matt and Bray left. All of a sudden, Jeff turns back, and Finn, what was that? The look on Seth Rollins' face, priceless. Absolutely priceless. If you did not see that bit, go on to WWE.com and check it out. It was hilarious. I'm drinking to that.
Drink to it.
You're not drinking to it?
I didn't see it.
Oh,
I'll be honest with
missed
you.
that part? All right.
Take your advice.
It was hilarious. All right, main event time. 6-man tag. We have Jeff Hardy, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. The face is taken on The Miz and The Miz Taraj. Are you drinking to it?
No. I like the Intercontinental scene, like I said, but his Miz Taraj is getting old. I really liked when he had Mizdow. That was awesome.
Mizdow was
that
great.
was awesome. No, it's kind of getting boring. I wish that they would do something with those two
they're
to
both
make
phenomenal.
them look like an entourage
stinks.
of some sort. Maybe give them some cameras, have them taking pictures, something. But I understand what they're doing with this. They got to make the storyline, obviously, and you're not going to give away a title. Obviously the title's going to be defended on a pay-per-view on the WWE Network, $9.99 a month, right?
Yeah.
But so you got to do something in order to get the feud going. I like the feud. Was kind of of the match. I'm just kind of bored of it. It wasn't nothing exciting, I guess.
I'm going to agree. I am not going to drink to the now, don't get me wrong. The match was great. I think everyone worked together really well, but it didn't do anything for me. Like, it was great to see them all, and of course the faces came out on top, which is always a good thing, a good feel-good thing at the end of Raw, especially the Raw after Mania. But yeah, to me, it seemed a little mishmashed. I feel like it was just a show-off at the end, like they were all doing their finishers. Mm-hmm. It was more of a, let's impress the live crowd more than it was for the TV crowd. So I'm also not going to drink to this, even though I appreciate the match, I appreciate the work. And Curtis Axel, you are underappreciated, my friend.
That I would agree with that. I think he's very underappreciated. I mean, he's had a job for how long, though? But he never gets a run that he should get, I think, a little bit. It'd be so great. You're from Minnesota.
He's Mr.
Minnesota.
He's Mr. Perfect's son. They should be doing so much more with him, Curtis. I believe in you.
Maybe he's just not as perfect.
He's better than perfect. Didn't you remember his first run? He had the better than perfect shirts.
I don't know.
All right.
Just drinking anyways.
I'm drinking out of depression more than I'm drinking out of that. Ugh. Well, that was Raw. All right, and now to SmackDown. Raw's got a halfway decent lead, and SmackDown gets its automatic 3 because it's an hour shorter.
Yep.
So let's see what we thought of SmackDown.
Wait, Paul. Before we do that,
okay.
I owe you something from WrestleMania.
Oh, that's right.
We played the scorecard game. I love doing this. It does take about 5 to 10. Some people took 20 minutes trying to fill this thing out. But Paul was the overall winner. And guess who came in dead last? me. So, Paul.
And there was what? There was probably, 8 people?
There's 8 people doing it,
Including your
$5
wife
apiece.
did it and beat you?
I don't have a wife. I have a girlfriend.
Your girlfriend, sorry. Your significant other beat you. We'll go with
There's
that.
the $40 that you won from the pot. Good work. I guess all his dirt sheet reading up is working out and paying off.
You know what saved me? Brock, thank you for winning, because that won it for me. That put me over the top, because I was the only one who said you were going to win that match. I was the only one. All right, SmackDown.
Here we go.
SmackDown kicked off with Here Comes the Money. Good old Shane O'Mac coming out and giving a really nice, thank you all so much for all your support through WrestleMania week. I thought it was really weird that the crowd started chanting, thank you, Shane, because Shane basically has nothing to do with it, but whatever. Exciting crowd. Exciting crowd.
It's a family. It's a family thing.
You're right. It is a family thing. But then the big moment for me that I am definitely drinking for is your new SmackDown general manager, PAIGE. After she announces her retirement on Raw the night before, makes it seem like she's going to move on and do something else. But I think now looking back on it, that was a little bit of a tease, the whole you gave me hope to Daniel Bryan, because now she's taking Daniel Bryan's position that kept him in the wrestling business. And I think it's kind of heartwarming. I think being only 25, this could be a very long position for her. However, it's only time will tell how it plays out. But I'm going to drink to it because I'm excited to see that she's sticking with the business.
I'm not going to drink to this because I get sick of the general managers a lot. I mean, you've had the dumb one where they had a computer doing it. And
that was Hornswoggle.
Oh, sorry, it was Hornswoggle doing it.
Under the ring.
And then you have a bunch of just other general managers, and to me, the one that stands out the most is Teddy Long from the years back. Right, and I've met that guy, and he's actually a really nice guy, really cool guy. But
Stop dancing, Teddy. Stop dancing.
Hey, player, no, slow your roll. But anyways, I'm not going to drink to this because unless it turns out to be something really cool, which I'm not sure it's going to, I'm not going to drink to this right now.
I'm drinking to the potential.
And I want to drink.
We'll get there. There's got to be some other moments that you can drink to for SmackDown. All right. Then up next, very confusing match that I am not drinking to. The whole Naomi, Natalya weird thing that basically the reason they had a match was because one insulted the other one on social media. And I'm getting really sick of these shticks. I think they're stupid. If people aren't following them on social media, they have no idea what's going on. And even though I do follow a lot of them on social media, I'm not looking at it all the time.
Right.
So for her to be like, what you said about me on social media, we're having a match, that to me goes, why? That's pointless. So I am not drinking to this. Even though the match itself, I'm not downplaying the work because it was a great match, but the story behind it is just stupid to me, and I'm not drinking to it.
And I'm also not drinking to this, and I want to drink like I said, but I can't because, like Paul said, he made a great point. Depending on how many followers you have, that many people at max know what's happening right now, and if you don't follow them, you have no idea. So let's just go off of 1 million. If you have 1 million followers, there's millions of people in the world, around the world, that are watching you, and they have no idea what's happening. I love Natalya. I think she's worked her butt off, as I've said in the past. And I really wish she would get some sort of title run because she does a lot, I would say, for the company. She's always there. She's always working hard. They never give her anything. And I'm just not... I'm trying to find what the story is on this besides the social media play, and I'm not seeing it.
No, and I think one thing we can blame a lot on this is the fact that there's going to be the superstar shakeup next week. So they can't really push anything really too hard.
Yep.
But I feel like they could have come up with something better than this.
That's true.
I think it's become a crutch. The social media angle is just a crutch now that they use when they can't think of something else to do.
Yep.
So then up next we had the tag team match for the #1 contendership to take on the Bludgeon Brothers at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Okay.
So the New Day and the Usos going at it again for that position. And even though we've seen this match how many times at this point, they are still so good in the ring together that I'm drinking to this because the match, once again, and to the fact that it was on TV versus this is a match... Once again, with how well they did in it, this could have been on a pay-per-view again. So I'm drinking to this because it was well done. Usos coming out on top. Do I think that maybe it should have gone the other way? Maybe, but I'm still going to drink to it anyway.
And I'm going to drink to it. Same reason, Paul. They make a good match out of it. It's almost like they steal a show a lot. And I love the gimmick of the New Day. It's so corny. I remember when people hated them when they came out, and then all of a sudden they did their job so well, or bad, whatever you want to say, that everyone starts loving them. And the Mom Squad is kind of the same thing. We come out with squirt guns. We squirt our opponents. It's just fun. It's lighthearted. But you have a guy like Big E who goes out there and just demolishes people, which brings the seriousness and the aspect of winning to that, because Big E is a monster. All right, and then you got Kofi Kingston, who's a high flyer, and then you got kind of the comedic relief in Xavier Woods whenever he's playing that, the trombone.
Absolutely. So next then, we're drinking to it. And thank you to Island City Brewing Company for the excellent brews yet again. We got the Dock Cider Double IPA?
We got the Dock Cider, 8% alcohol. So if you think
that's what I'm feeling.
Reviews are good now, they're going to get better. And by the way, they supplied us with a supply of glasses, beer, and we had some growlers for WrestleMania. So thanks to Island City Brew in Winona, Minnesota. We appreciate the love.
Up next, the Queen comes out, obviously riding high after her victory over Asuka at WrestleMania. Woo! Yes, indeed. And man, does that echo nicely in this garage.
Yes.
But first off, I thought her outfit was a little over the top. The whole, she looked more uncomfortable wearing that than anything else. I'm sure she was. But whatever. You looked great, Queen. It was awesome. Great seeing you come down. Obviously riding high, like I said, after that victory, taking Asuka's streak down. I mean, it was like when Brock took down the streak from The Undertaker, kind of a similar moment. I thought it was a little downplayed a little bit, at the actual event. So, but, and we're getting a little more down the road here, but this one's tough for me because I think we got to break this down into two different spots, because I definitely want to give a drink to the debuting Iconic Duo, because I'm sorry, they should have been up on the main roster months ago. They have such a great gimmick. They get such great heat. They do the whole fact that they work together to do this creates such great relationship between them, but then it makes them that much more powerful as heels. So that I'm giving a drink to. However, as much as I was excited to see Carmella finally cash in, I think with that cash in that they totally took down everything that Charlotte just accomplished with taking down the streak. So to me, they've just thrown the streak out the window by giving Charlotte this huge push and then just totally sweeping her legs out from under her. So I'm not drinking to the Carmella cash-in, even though it was cool. And the ref, I've never seen a ref look more confused in my life. And it's just like, what it was like the whole Shinsuke Nakamura, me no speak English. Did that ref not speak English? Because he just didn't get it. But anyway, so I'm drinking to the Iconic Duo making their debut. I am not drinking to Charlotte losing the title in a cash-in.
And I would have to agree with you. I love Charlotte. I think she's great. She works hard. She has the it factor, just like her dad, which makes sense, Ric Flair. He had the it factor as well. He comes down. She has her gimmick, which is somewhat of a spin-off of Rick, but the female version, but she plays it really well. So she's obviously working on it. I love that. I love the match that they had at WrestleMania. I thought it was cool. I really like Charlotte makes everything look legitimate. They had a steel cage match. She had a steel cage match. That was crazy, too. I remember that. That was great. Now, it does not make a whole lot of sense why they had Carmella. It'd be different if Ronda Rousey ran out there and cashed in, but that wasn't it. It was Carmella, which to me is kind of she can beat. And the confusing part with the ref, it's like, here, Paul, here, I want you to drink this.
What?
No, you drink it. You drink this with your mouth, and it goes down your throat. Paul.
What?
That's about how it looked when she was trying to cash in the damn Money in the Bank briefcase. The guy had no idea.
It was so.
He's been there for how long?
To me, it's. And one of those things that really gets me on that is those are the guys that have the earpieces directly to Vince. So my question is was Vince like changing his mind? Like maybe she wasn't supposed to, or maybe that's the only thing I can think is that maybe Vince was like, wait, I don't know what I want to do yet. Wait, hang on. Yes, no, don't do it. Yeah. I don't know.
Although he's in gorilla position, telling her to go out there and do it.
Right? So
and
I don't
he's
know.
like, hey, maybe you should. No, don't do it yet.
It's
What
so
was
true.
that?
It's
The guy
so
is a
true.
veteran referee. Cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase has been around for, 10 plus years now?
I don't know. I just think Vince just was trying to call an audible, and maybe
Maybe they're setting up for something awesome, but I'm still
It
drinking
could
to
be.
Charlotte. I'm still drinking to her.
All right, so this is a drink and a half because I'm drinking to the. Well, are you drinking to the Peyton Royce and the iconic duo making their debut, or are you not drinking to that, but you're drinking to Charlotte?
I'm drinking to Charlotte, not the other two making their debut.
And I'm drinking to. Okay, so we're both drinking technically to this.
Yep.
But only parts of it.
Yeah, sorry, but it all goes together, and there's
Yep.
there's things I like more
All
than I
right.
didn't like.
We'll give them a tick. SmackDown's catching up.
Uh-oh.
I don't think they're going to come out on top in this one, and I'm going to tell
find
you
out.
why. Because then up next was, it was the main event. It was Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, which it's a dream match in itself.
Right.
Because, but here's the thing. They put it on TV, and you know that there was going to be shenanigans.
Yep.
With the way Shinsuke Nakamura was acting earlier, it just, to me, I don't know. The match was really good, and I want to give it to them. They performed really well. And, granted, I'm not going to lie. This whole Shinsuke Nakamura heel turn, I love it. However, I think they went a little over the top. Do you really need to give a guy 3 low blows in one bit? I just thought it was too much. Personally.
Yeah, that's too much. One would put us out of commission, I'm pretty sure. If I just low blowed you right now, Paul, you're going down and I'm taking over the show.
Obviously. But my point is like, even when you're, choreographing these out, I just thought it was too much. I did. I thought they could have eased it back a little bit, caused a little bit more tension between the two, but when you smack a guy in the junk that many times, he can't do a whole lot. And I don't know. I thought it was more awkward at the end. So I don't know. I can't drink to it, even though I'm really excited to see where it goes. I can't drink to it because I just thought it looked messy.
And I can't drink to this either because of the fact that the booking doesn't make sense. Like you said, you got a dream match here possibly. You could even have a dream triple threat match here for the most part.
Maybe it'll lead to that.
And maybe it does.
And then I'd give it a drink, but because it's more confusing, yeah.
But even so, I'd rather have seen at WrestleMania Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles than what we saw. And you guys can hate me out there for all you want. I don't care if you do. But I don't know how you felt about it, but I know we were thinking, oh man, this is going to be one hell of a match because we've heard so much of their history, their background, the Tokyo Dome, and then all of a sudden it came out, and to me it was a slow-paced match, and it kind of laid an egg, and then at the end the low blows were just kind of where that was like the story they told it was at the end, rather than at the beginning. It really wasn't telling us a story at all, but maybe it does, come to fruition of some other thing like a triple threat match between the three of them. That could be really cool. I really like Daniel Bryan and AJ versus each other more than I like Shinsuke because I think all he does is kick. That's not my favorite style. I like watching some acrobatics, and that's what Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles bring.
Chris Steele, not a fan of the strong style.
I hate to break this to you, but it is a showman's sport. It's sports entertainment. If he wants to go out and strong style someone, he should get into MMA because that's where you go out and knock someone out.
Yep.
Okay?
I agree.
As a professional wrestler, I'm out there to put on a show, not kill my opponent. All right? Now, you want to make it look as bad as possible, but some of those times I think he's about to knock off someone's head with some of those kicks.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
and I know, even though some of these guys like Daniel Bryan have kick pads on, if he kicks you in the chest like he does, I know that does not feel great. And not only that, he does them time after time after time.
Yes.
Now, you can try to hold back your kick, but good luck with all your adrenaline going through you. It doesn't work, and it hurts. I know that they're trying to kill someone. I know they're not either, but you do have to make it look good, and I understand that aspect too. But I was really expecting more out of WrestleMania from those two. Maybe something bigger is coming, and we're just not aware of it, but I'm not going to drink to that. I'm sorry.
Yep, I'm not going to drink to it either, but I am figuratively giving them a drink in hopes that this turns into something bigger, because a triple threat between those three, I think, would be phenomenal.
I think so too.
Kind of pun intended, but not pun intended to phenomenal. But I love you, AJ. Love you. All right, so we got to tally it up, and if I'm doing this in my head correctly, I believe that, yes, Raw comes out on top over SmackDown this week. And once again, remember, SmackDown gets those 3 free because that's an hour shorter. Maybe we should go to 2, but we'll see how the next few weeks play themselves
see how they go.
Because you know what? This is the first ever drink or don't drink to Raw and SmackDown. We're going to be doing these every week, talking about SmackDown and Raw, keeping you up to date. So if you can't catch them all, hopefully we're going to be keeping you up to date as best you can. But you know what? So we got to give another drink to Raw for coming out on top. The Raw after Mania.
Chug it down.
Oh, what?
Drink.
Oh, do I have to chug, really?
No, we don't have to.
Okay, because I'm not going to chug. But you know what? I thought it was overall a really fun WrestleMania week. I thought there were some interesting booking choices, and I think there's a lot of stories that are just in their infancy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the WWE has for us in the future.
Well, that's another episode. We'll catch you next week. I am the real deal, Mr. Sex Appeal, Chris Steele, and we got Paul.
I'm Paul.
Just Paul.
We'll come up with a nickname for me down the road. We'll work. What do you think? What should my nickname be? If he's the real deal, Mr. Sex Appeal, I got to come up with something. And it's got to be fun. We'll let you help us out. Comment below. Make sure you share and like the video. Subscribe to the page. It is the Real Deal TV. We have WrestleLogic going on. Definitely want you to be a part of it. And many other shows to come. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page to be kept up to date. Subscribe below and hit that like button while you're there. We'll see you next week.